Hello everybody, DK here, and welcome to my review of the Transformers movie masterpiece, Barricade. Yes, finally getting to do this. I've had this guy for quite some time. This review I've been kind of dreading, but honestly, I think I'm probably getting too worked up over not really anything. This guy is pretty complex, and this is the first movie masterpiece. This is the first masterpiece grade Transformer figure I've ever had. I've known about this line for a very long time. This is basically like, you know how like Marvel Legends are like your budget, cheap Marvel figures, and like, you know, your Mafex and your Mezco 112 collectives are like your really high-end Marvel figures. This is kind of like the Mafex and Mezco 112 collective of Transformers. You know, Hasbro puts out the cheap stuff that you can get for good prices. This guy is like a premium grade product, and it is for the most part that, and we will definitely talk about that overall in depth. But I picked this guy up because honestly he was about the same price as the Studio Series, which is absolutely sad. But don't worry, I did actually get a Studio Series one for a really good price. Actually, you know, standard price. It's just gonna be a while till he gets here, but since he was the same price, I decided to pick him up, and then I would just wait for my Studio Series 1 to come in, so at least I would have Barricade, because I freaking love Barricade. We'll talk about that in here, but yeah, I picked him up because he was about the same price as the Studio Series 1, which, yeah. Without further ado, let's jump into the review, starting to take a look at the packaging. So here is the movie masterpiece packaging. We have a nice picture of Barricade right there, all like, oh, you say legends back to 17, Takara Tomy Transformers, MPM Barricade, ages 8+, and we have Ford Masterpiece 8+. I don't know about that, man. This guy is, I don't know about the movie masterpiece line being 8+. These are kind of tough. There's the picture of the Saline Mustang. You got Barricade right there on the other side. Barricade like, oh, you say legends back to 17. And on the back, you have another nice picture of Barricade, and you have another nice picture of the Saline Mustang right there. Shows you that the mouth is open and closed. On the other side, nice picture of the Saline Mustang. Ford officially licensed, and let's move him out of here and bring in Barricade. So here is Barricade. He is a Saline Mustang, and he's also a police car, and I love him because he's Barricade, and I love Barricade. But this is a very it's a much heavier feeling figure than your standard Studio Series figures, because there's definitely some kind of like metal pieces in this figure, like 100% there are definitely some metal pieces in this figure, and just overall he's definitely got a higher quality feel to him overall. It's very noticeable that this is a higher end figure. As soon as you get him out of the box, you definitely feel the quality, and it definitely is there. Like, it's very nice. The wheels roll very nicely, and once again, this piece right here is actually one piece I can show you right now. This piece is metal. That piece right there is completely metal, and yeah, I mean, there's definitely some quality going on in this figure, which is what the masterpiece line is all about. Now, getting in here on some of Barricade's key details here, you do have the little Decepticon police sticker right there, which looks very cool. You have the police, you have 643 emergency 911 response, you have the to punish and enslave, which is just excellent. 643 police on the other side, another one to punish and enslave. 643 911, awesome picture of the Decepticon police sticker right there, and just overall very nicely done all the way through. 643 on the back there, police, very nicely done all the way through. I think he looks really good. You can't like pull out the headlights or anything to recreate that moment from the movie, which would have been kind of cool, but hey, I do overall really like the way that this looks, and it's a beautiful car. I'm a huge Mustang fan, so I'm very happy to have a Mustang Transformer in my collection, because I'm a big Mustang fan. Beautiful car. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to talk about with the vehicle here. Overall, it's very nice. Once again, it does roll very nicely, actually smoother than most of my Studio Series figures. So yeah, with that being said, let's do some comparisons here. Now, I will only be comparing this figure to Studio Series figures because it's the only Transformer figures I have, so I apologize for that. Also, I actually can compare him with a couple of my older Leader Class figures as well, but let's get into it. So here he is with the Studio Series Movie 1 Decepticons, all except for Blackout, who I will actually be getting a lot faster than I originally thought, yes! Anyway, we have Starscream, we have Bone Crusher, we have Brawl, and we have Megatron, and obviously, this Barricade doesn't scale with these. He's way too big. I mean, this Minesweeper truck and this tank, they would be absolutely freaking gigantic in real life. So yeah, he doesn't scale with that. Obviously, that's what the Studio Series 1 is for. But honestly, I think he looks pretty good in here. I mean, the scale is certainly not right, but honestly, you can kind of fudge it. I think you can kind of fudge it. It looks okay. In the robot mode, I actually think you can really fudge. So yeah, there you have that comparison. And overall, I think he does work. He slightly works with the Studio Series ones. And here he is with a deluxe class car figure right there, as you can see. This is probably about the size I'm thinking the Studio Series one will be when I eventually get mine, but, yeah, I mean, it's a different scale. The movie masterpiece is a whole other scale from the Studio Series. That's just it's just what they ended up doing with it. Obviously, he doesn't work with the Studio Series figures, but, I'll talk about that more in the robot mode, but there you have that comparison. And here he is with Optimus, so you can see his skills there. Once again, like, obviously these Studio Series comparisons aren't going to give you a good sense of how he scales with other figures, but at least it's what I got, and I'll go ahead and throw the trailer on Prime here, just so you can see that as well. So there you go. And one more, here he is with Sentinel Prime, just because he's in vehicle mode, so why not? Why not? Alright, now before we get to the transformation, I do want to briefly talk about his accessory here, even though you can't incorporate it into, actually, never mind, you can actually, you can incorporate it, but you can't really, like, store it anywhere. Okay, so here's his accessory. I apologize, I'm all over the place. But here's his accessory. It's the death wheel from the movie. Pretty cool, actually. I actually do kind of like it. It's a neat little accessory. I would have preferred Frenzy, because of course I would have. Frenzy was awesome, and having a Frenzy would be way cooler than having this. And the Studio Series figure doesn't come with Frenzy either, so I have absolutely no idea how I'm going to get a Frenzy for my Decepticon display, so... But anyway, yeah, pretty cool when it comes to this cool little stand here, which I really like the stand because, one, of course, you can just put it in here and you can have it displayed like that. Or another thing I've come up with blah, 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 with this stand. This stand actually makes a great little stand for your Laserbeak, your Studio Series Laserbeak figure that came with Soundwave. You can just peg it right there, and he stays in really, really well, and this is what I've been using the stand for. Yeah, it works really well. I really like the way that looks. So yeah, that's I wanted to throw that in there because I discovered it and I thought it was cool. Huh. Now, you actually can incorporate the spinning wheel of death into the vehicle mode here. You can bring this down and then you can peg it up here, I believe. I don't even... Is this actually... Am I just talking out of my ass here? Okay, I think I'm actually just talking out of my ass here. It's because I think the Studio Series one, you can, like, plug it, like, underneath the car, and you can have it, like, in front of him, and it looks ridiculous. But I believe on the Studio Series figure, you can kind of have that going on, but I actually don't think you can do it on this, because it doesn't look like there's enough clearance to get the spikes out of the way, so... I don't know, I could be missing that. Honestly, I don't care because it will look freaking ridiculous even if you do it. So, let's just move this out of the way and get to the transformation. So, graphic will pop up on screen right now. If you want to skip the transformation, skip to the timestamps provided in that little graphic. But, let's jump into this. So, transformation. Honestly, going into robot mode is not too bad. Going back into car mode... the first time I transformed him, I thought it was gonna be I thought it was pretty bad, but honestly, I think I've gotten the hang of it by now. I really do. I think I've gotten the hang of it by now, and I think I can do it pretty well. So, to transform, what you want to do is you want to come up here to this little section here, and you want to pop this up. There we go, now you can actually see me. And you want to pop the roof here up, and that will just shift up like that. And then come back here, and you want to split this section. You just want to split that down the middle right there. And then you want to get this piece out, and all this is going to unpeg from this section right here, and that will all come out just like that. Giving me a hard time because of your color, man. Your color is hard to record. You can't see it, so... Oh, goodness gracious, this is obnoxious. There we go. Okay, so this piece right here, unpeg this from the back here, and that will all... Come on, tab, it's so dark, I can't show them on camera very well. There we go. And then that is what you got going on here. Now you want to come down here, and this entire section is going to unpeg from here. You just want to get in here, and this entire section is just going to shift out, and you want to get this piece out from underneath this door right there, and then you can just pull this entire thing out, and that's going to be one of the arms right there. And do the same thing on the other side here. Pull this out, and then bring this out and get the arm around the door, and then just pop the whole thing out of place right there, and there you have the arms separated out. Oh, peekaboo. All right, then from here you can take this and you can bring this whole piece down like this, and then for the backpack here, you want to just fold in, you want to just fold this piece in just like this, and then this piece will just collapse in up there, and that will just shorten that piece out, and that's going to be his backpack. All right, so for the legs are super easy. You just got to fold them out and then fold them down, and you can feel some really nice clickety-clackety ratchet joints in there, which I actually really like. I don't know, it just feels good. It just feels good. These pieces just shift up, and then you can kind of just collapse them against the legs right there. Yeah, it's kind of lazy. Look, it kind of feels a little bit lazy, but it works. It works. There you go. You just have those collapse up on the back there. He's so hard to film because of the color, man. Then you bring down the feet, and then you flip out these little spikes here, although it's probably easier to leave them down until you're completely finished with the robot, because they're very loose. They'll flip up and down as you're doing this, so yeah, probably just leave them down for now. And then come up here, and then you want to bring these sections up, and you want to fold them in on themselves, just like that, and those are going to shift up. And then here you can take the head, and the head is on a little system where you can just flip it up out of the body, and it will also raise up this entire assembly along with it. Now you want to take this part of the car here, the little part of the front of the car right there, and that piece is going to shift down and go all the way down, and it's going to click right there, and then you can take these sections on either side and you can rotate them and have them kind of look like that, so you can get that look going on like he had in the movie. And then this entire armature, which is made of metal right there, this is going to hinge up, and it's going to click right there, and then this piece is also going to come up, but it's actually not going to click into place right there. God, this is the hardest Transformer to ever record. He's just nothing but black plastic, and you can't see anything. Shit. Okay, hopefully that'll help. So right here, this section's gonna tab up, but it's not actually gonna clip in place. The only thing that's gonna clip in place here is this back section here. Goodness gracious. All right, so there's a little port right there in this back section, and that's gonna tab into that tab right there. So when you bring this up, you want to get that tabbed in. It doesn't really tab in place very securely. It just kind of goes up, and there you have that. And once that's done, make sure the head doesn't pop back up, and then you pretty much have that done. Now you move on to the arms. And I actually really like the way the arms transform. From here on out, the rest of the transformation is pretty fun. So from here, you want to bring the arms up on this little assembly here, and you want to bring them forward. They're kind of difficult to get proper because they're very, like, there's no place for them to lock in. They just swing forward on this little armature and sit right there. And then the forearm here, to transform the forearm, what you want to do is you want to bring out the hand, just like this, and then you want to bring out the wheel here, and this is on a little sliding assembly right there, and you want to bring it down, and you want to peg it right there, and then rotate the hand around, and it will peg in place right on the wheel, right there. So there you have that, and then you can split the wheel, and that will give him that look. And there you have one hand done, and then come back up here, and this little piece will flip out just like that, and then you can fold this piece up, and then this piece will come out, and you want to swivel this around and then fold it in on the arm, and this entire assembly will come up, and that slot will slot into that peg on the arm there, and there you have that. And then you can take this little piece, this little shoulder piece, and this will fold up, and then you can bring the headlight down, and there you have one arm all the way done right there. So now you want to do the same thing on the other arm here. This one's a lot easier because for some reason on mine, the ratchet on this one is a whole lot softer, and it just kind of goes with it, but this one, it just wants to shift the whole thing down. So I wish both arms were like that, but hey, it is what it is. So we're going to rotate this piece around and fold it up against the back there, bring out the hand, bring out the wheel, shift it down, and peg it into place. Fold the hand around and peg it into right there, and it will just tab in right there. A little bit difficult to do. Once you get it, you get it. And then just open up the wheel, just like that. Take this piece right here, fold it out, bring it up, and fold this entire assembly up and peg it into that slot, Make sure the backpack doesn't come untabbed, even though it totally will because it doesn't really sit that well. And ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, yeah, he looks really good. There you have Barricade in his robot mode. And yes, he looks absolutely stupendous. This is the best part of the figure right here, is this robot mode. Yeah, it's pretty much perfect. The robot mode is pretty much perfect. I think it is anyway. I don't think I'd really change anything about it. I love the blue accents that they've got going on in the robot mode here. The head sculpt is to die for. All the mechanical detail is awesome. You want to make sure you bring the shoulder pad up as well. I constantly forget that for some reason. But yeah, he just looks, he looks pretty much perfect. I mean, he looked like he jumped right out of the movie and into your living room, man. This thing is absolutely crazy. I love everything they did. I love all the metallic detail work, the glossiness that's on the figure. He pops on the shelf. He looks absolutely terrific, and I don't think they could have made him any better than they did, especially at the price point he's at. Like, this guy isn't even all that expensive, honestly. He really isn't. For what you're getting, he is 100% not even that expensive. Like, really, all the way through, he just looks fantastic. Really, really, really awesome. And then on the backpack folds up. You can, if you want, untab these, and these will like swivel out, but I don't even bother myself with it. You'll never see it anyway. It's on the back, but you can bring them down and whatnot, but I say just leave it alone. Who cares? It'll make him easier to transform back. But yeah, terrific. Honestly, I don't think I have any issues with the robot mode. I think it just looks absolutely stupendous overall. It's an amazing looking robot mode, and it's pretty much a dead-on Barricade. Like, yeah, pretty much no criticisms, no complaints whatsoever. This robot mode is basically perfect. It's quite phenomenal. The head does have a little joint in the mouth here, so he can be all like, "Oh, you usually please back to 17," but I think that's pretty cool. But one thing about it is it kind of like, it likes to just flop all the way open. Like, when you get to a certain point, it just likes to fall all the way down, and it's kind of difficult to get in there and close it back up. But hey, I mean, it's a nice little feature to add in there, so you can pose him screaming at Sam Witwicky or someone or something like that. And the articulation is absolutely terrific. I mean, you can land some amazing poses out of this guy without even using the weapon. It's really... Honestly, in every category, this figure is an absolute knockout win, but I don't know, man, it's just, there's something about this guy that's not quite clicking with me, and I can't put my finger on it. I can't tell you what it is, so I'm gonna just completely ignore that and not let that affect my overall opinion and rating on this figure whatsoever, because I can't put my finger on it, but there's just something about this guy that is not 100% clicking with me. But overall, he looks absolutely terrific, and honestly, man, I don't think they could have done him any better. I think I might just be crazy. It's totally possible. In fact, I'm pretty sure I am crazy, but yeah, and then you can bring the spikes out right now. But yeah, he looks absolutely terrific. Now, to give him his death wheel here, you have to basically transform his arm back into the car mode configuration. So unpeg the hand and unpeg the wheel, and then take this piece, fold it down, fold this piece in, and then you can bring it out, but you're gonna bring it back in anyway. And then you want to take the wheel here, shift it up, and well, actually, you want to spin this around, and then bring it in, and it will clip right there, and then take this piece, and it will, don't rotate it if you already rotated it, and bring it down, and get that stuck right there, and then basically the death wheel is just going to peg into a little slot right there in the arm. You can see that slot right there is going to go into that tab, and then that little tab right there is also going to just go sit comfortably in there. So you want to just get that. You kind of want to just you kind of want to catty corner it when you put it on there, and then just peg it into place so that all the connection points sit, and that will allow it to be really, really, really sturdy, and you don't have to worry about it falling off or anything. Because as you can see, yeah, he's not dropping it. If you do it right, he won't drop it. And yeah, it's really cool. Now he can have his death wheel and be like, "This one's for the Ark." It's so cool. I really, really, really like the way it looks. Honestly, I think it's a really, really, really cool accessory. I still would have taken Frenzy over it just because Frenzy was so unbelievably cool in the first movie, and I just have no idea how I'm gonna get a Frenzy for my display, but overall, I do like this accessory. It is pretty cool, and you can get some really cool poses out of it. Alrighty, now for articulation, and it's kind of bizarre. So the head is on a ball joint, and it's got a whole bunch of hinges right here, so you can bring him forward, you can bring him all the way up, he can do a full 360 because it's a ball joint. Obviously, he has the jaw articulation, but like I said, like it's kind of weird with the jaw articulation, but it is nice that it's there. I would prefer that it's there and rather than it not be there. The arms are super finicky, so the arms are on this whole little armature here for transformation, but you can, there is a joint here that will allow you, I'll just show you on this side, because this side it actually works perfectly. For me, it actually like locks up here, then this entire arm just ratchets fine. And yeah, it's a nice little ratchet joint at the at this part right here. You have these hinge joints right here on the no wait, it's not, well, you're not working. See these hinge joints right here that can like fold back and forth for poses right there. You can bring the arms up pretty good amount, a little bit over 90 degrees right there. You can rotate up right here at the bicep. You can bring them out, like you can do all kinds of stuff with the arms. They're pretty crazy how they're posed. I really like it. And there's also some finger articulation. You can open and close the hands right there, and it's pretty, yeah, it's overall really, really good articulation. And then the legs can go forward that far, you can go back that far. He has these double jointed bend at the knee here, but it's kind of difficult. Yeah, it's kind of difficult to get. You can definitely do some cool poses out of it though. And then the feet are really well articulated. The feet can go up, they can go down, and you do have a really good amount of ankle pivot right there, which is very, very nice. These little pieces right here as well, these kind of fold up and round, and they will help accommodate the articulation. There is a slight swivel right here at the waist, but if you do it, it's gonna untab this section right here, which isn't a big deal because it doesn't really stay tabbed in anyway, so, you know. But yeah, they have your articulation. Overall, pretty well articulated, actually. I think they did a really good job with the articulation on this guy, especially in the arms. The arms are crazy articulated. Like, you can get some really good stuff. Oh, also, you can bring the arms out as well. So yeah, you can get some really good articulation in the arms here. It's very, very well done. Alrighty, for comparison, here he is with Megatron right there. And once again, obviously, they're not in scale. It doesn't really work. But honestly, like I already said this in the review for the Megatron, but I honestly kind of like the way he looks with the other movie one Decepticons. It's not in scale at all, but I still think he looks really good with them, bringing in the other ones. So here he is with the rest of the Studio Series Movie 1 Decepticons, except for Blackout, which, once again, I may be getting a little bit sooner than I thought. But, yeah, there you have that. I'll go ahead and roll forward here so you can get a sense of how he scales with him. And then we'll bring Bone Crusher over here so you can get a sense of how he scales with him. But to fit them all in frame, I had to kind of make some sacrifices. Not all of them can be shown at once. So, yeah. Overall, I mean, like I said, he's obviously not in scale with the others, but I honestly think he looks pretty good with him. Obviously, it'll be a lot better when I get my Studio Series 1, but, you know, until I get my Studio Series 1, he'll be fine. He'll work just fine, in my opinion. So, there you go. And here he also is with Optimus Prime. I don't have a Bumblebee yet. I will be getting one very soon. In fact, when this video goes up, I probably will already have Bumblebee, and even maybe already have made the review for him. It's possible. As always, there'll be a link in the description down below to the playlist for the Transformer reviews. So, yeah, but there you have them together. Obviously, they don't scale whatsoever, but hey, yeah. And for your standard 7-inch scale comparison, here he is with the Ultimate Jason Voorhees figures. So you can see how he looks with a standard 7-inch scale figure, and here he is with a standard Marvel Legend, so you can get a sense of how he scales with 6-inch scale figures. So, there you go. Alrighty, now for our showcase. Decepticons! Yes, my liege. We need to find the Autobot. Wait, where's Barricade? Here, sir. Ah, Barricade. Whoa, Jesus! Why are you so big? Perhaps he's taking steroids.
Actually, my liege, I came across a small cake that said, "Eat me," so I did.
Let me get this straight. You found a mysterious cake that said, "Eat me," and you ate it.
Yes, my liege.
You know, I thought I did a better job than this. So this cake made you gigantic?
Yes, my liege. That's what happened.
God damn it. Shockwave, I need you.
Lord Megatron, forgive me, but I thought we were supposed to be killing the Autobots.
1 second, Brawl. There is no way I'm going to let one of my subordinates look cooler and bigger than me.
With all due respect, sir, he's still shorter than you. Yeah, he is kind of cooler looking, but...
Shut up.
Yes, sir.
Alright, I'm here. Ugh, feels good to get out of the lab and stretch myself a little bit.
You can stretch yourself later.
With all due respect, Megatron, you did pull me from my lab.
Shut up. And fix Barricade.
Fix him? Well, what's wrong with him? He looks exactly the same to me.
He ate a stupid cake and now he's too big and he looks too good.
With all due respect, my lord, if I'm bigger, doesn't that make me more of a threat to the Autobots? I find Barricade's point logical.
But I'm supposed to be the coolest one.
My lord, please, the Autobots aren't going to destroy themselves.
They seem to be doing a pretty good job last I checked.
I am such an MGO clone. Anyway, final thoughts on the movie masterpiece Barricade. It's a great figure. It's just a great figure. Not really any complaints. No massive appraisals other than the fact that it looks pretty much exactly like Barricade. Overall, I mean, it's a very nice figure. I would certainly recommend it if you're thinking about picking this guy up. I would certainly say go ahead and get him. He's very much worth it. Definitely worth the price. The quality is there. He looks fantastic. He looks pretty much just like he jumped right out of the movie, and he's overall just a really good figure. I don't really have anything massively amazing to say about him. He doesn't blow me away or anything, but he's a very solid figure and definitely worth having in the collection. I'm going to give him a final rating of 8 out of 10. With that being said, everybody, thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, consider hitting that subscribe button for more Transformer reviews in the future. And this is TK Guillotine, signing out.